Hi guys, I'm Blackie and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about sharpening an axe. Now this is my flying fox I just got, and I talked about recently in a video introducing it to the set, but it is not sharp enough for me yet, and it's got a few things I want you to understand. The flying fox was meant to be a throwing hatchet. They designed it because there's a growing thing in a lot of taverns and bars about getting in there, having a beer, and throwing axes at these big targets inside a cage type thing, safe to do. And so these were set up to be throwing hatchets. Now when you look up here at the edge of it, you see it looks kind of grainy. If you run your finger over it, you can feel that tooth. What that is when they make it, they take it and they put it on a belt with probably something, I'm guessing something like a 30 grit or whatever, and it kind of grooves it up. Well, for a throwing hatchet, that should hit and that gives it adhesion. So when it sticks into the wood, that teeth keeps it from coming out easily. But have you ever noticed lumberjacks in those lumberjack competitions, their axe heads are polished like a mirror? That's because they want less friction to slice into the wood with. See, a polished axe goes into the wood easily. A grooved axe like this bites the wood and hangs there. So for a throwing hatchet, that's preferable. But I'm not going to be using this for throwing hatchet. I've got tomahawks for that. This is going to be a field hatchet, and so I'm wanting to kind of take some of that tooth off. I'm going to sand off some of that to make it smoother and less friction for going into the wood. And what I need to do now is to clamp it down and actually sand it. Now I've already done one side that you'll see in this. I did out of sequence, so I've already sharpened one side of it. I'm going to do the other side now, but this side has not been sharpened at all. And you see how wide that edge is. Now look at how wide the edge is. See, I want about 1/4 inch or so of edge on it. If I made that bevel even wider, like 3/8 of an inch or so, I mean like a 1/2 inch, that would be an even thinner edge. I don't want it too thin. I want it robust enough. This is already a thin head because it's going to bite deep. See, so I want to just take that edge back and make that edge about 1/4 inch wide right there. Now this rest of this tooth up here, I'll sand that a little bit later and then put a little bit of wax on the head. The handle I think it's had some sort of finish applied, but not a lot, because I can feel a little bit of raised grain here there. So I'm going to sand that handle down and I'm going to apply wax to mine. I use gun wax, which you can get little bottles of it, Birchwood Casey gun wax. That's what I'll wax my head and I'll do the handle with. That makes a grip that whenever it doesn't get sticky, but it makes a grip that holds well in your hand so it doesn't rub blisters, and yet on impact your hand can move a little bit so it doesn't rub blisters easy on your hand. Okay? We got rain coming in. It's the reason I'm doing all these videos right here, because we got 3 inches of rain in the last 48 hours at my place. Sounds like another 1/2 inch coming right now. So let me get set. I'll show you how to set it up and we'll put an edge on it. Okay, we're going to use this bench to keep, if you try to just lay the axe head up there and file on it, you can, but it's probably not going to do this one. And that's not safe. You don't want it to hang or roll because you could damage the edge or you could damage you. So to keep that head from moving, I'm going to take a Scotch-Brite pad and I'm going to lay it down right there, and I'm going to put my head sitting there, bringing my handle over, and then I'm going to use one of these big clamps. Scoot it over pretty good where it'll grip it. There. Now that's fairly secure and it's not going to wiggle around a lot. Now this particular Nicholson file, which I broke off for another project, has a fine and a coarse side. I'm going to take the coarse side, I'm going to put it up there, and I'm going to make a nice slow stroke. You're going from the beginning to halfway, then you reset and go halfway to the end. So, one, that's middle, end. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. Alright, now I have I'm beginning to widen that edge because I want that edge to be about 1/4 of an inch wide. That goes with the angle of it. A really short, stubby edge doesn't have enough depth. Good for a splitting axe or a busting axe or a grubbing axe. You know, I'm going to be chopping roots or something in the dirt. But not good for what I'm going to use this for. This is going to be a deep biting, cutting, bucking axe. I'm going to show you how to do that later on in a future video. So I want this edge to be a deep biter. So I want the actual edge a little wider, a little finer. So therefore that. Now I've done that. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to make one long pass now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that right there is a little shallow in the start. Let me bring it up. All along that line. Don't add any more angle. Alright. Now I shift over to the fine side of my file. Now pull backwards first. Pull off any whiskers I created. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, let's talk about something about the file. There ain't no stop between that and my thumb. If I got my thumb or my finger sticking up there and I jam up, what am I going to do? So here's safety. When you grip it, grip the handle back down here at the bottom. Better yet, if you'd put a piece of leather or something across this, so if you did accidentally bump, it's not going to cut you. Okay? And you'll feel it when it goes from hard cutting to kind of gets a little smoother, a little slicker. The sound changes as well. Short on the start off right there. Okay, now that I've polished that up, I'm going to take my finger and pull back toward me. See if there's a wire edge. I don't feel one. Now I pull up from the bottom. I don't feel but a little bit of one right there. I'm going to turn around and use the fine side of it. Pull that wire edge to this side. Alright, now push. And I eliminate that wire edge. Alright. Now, you take it and look at it, edge on, directly down the line against a good light source, and roll the axe so that you can see the actual edge. Don't make sure there ain't no wave in it. It should be one continuous. It shouldn't be like this. One continuous. If there's waves in it, make long strokes. Start at one end, go to the other end, and reverse and come back. So I would do 5 this way and then 5 that way to cure that waviness. I want it to be straight. I want my shiny edge to be about 1/4 inch of it. There, you get the light to shine on it. About 1/4 inch wide on both sides. It doesn't take much. Once you got it where it's a good sharp edge, then you go to something like a puck or something like that to hone it even more. The file is used to take big chunks off, get rid of nicks and stuff like that. The puck is used to hone it. Okay, as you can see, I've shined up that edge now. Now I'm going to take a marker Gonna color a little bit on that edge so I can see it. I'm not trying to blacken it, and I know from your point of view that's fine, you probably can't see that, but I can see that. Now I'm going to take the fine side of my file, and I'm not going to put a lot of pressure. I'm just going to nice long stroke so I hit, and I'm going to slide about half the length of the blade, and I'm going to come back and hit and go about half the length of the blade, just like that. So stroke to half, stroke to the end, stroke to half, stroke to the end, stroke to half, stroke to the end. Just like that. So it's two motions. And then occasionally I'll do one full pull the whole way. Now I can see now that all that edge is gone. All that doodling I put on there has been wiped off, which is clear. Now, take it off. See how nice and shiny that is across there and how wide it is. Now compare it to the original edge. Original edge, see, you still see that teeth in there. It hadn't been polished off. But now, as you can see, it's been polished off. And so that cutting edge will work better. Keeping an axe good and sharp is not that big of a job. Protecting an axe is the job. When you chop something on the ground, there could be a rock or something like that, you can put a big ding out of it. That you got to have a file to cut it off of. Cut the sides off and make it usable again. You want a really sharp axe for limbing. You want it to cut deep, cut clean. That's what this is used for, and this is what's going to be used for. I'm going to demonstrate it, but you take a tree while it's standing there and you go ahead and mark it at certain levels and do multiple chops, like 3 chops all the way around to weaken it, so that whenever you actually lay it down, you can stomp it and snap it off and have predetermined lengths of firewood pretty quickly. That'll be in an upcoming video, and that's what I envision this for. I'm going to hone this up where it's sharp. I mean where it'll shave hair sharp. I'm going to get rid of that tooth up there because, again, this is not a throwing hatchet. This is going to be used as a wood cutting hatchet. And I'm going to little bitty things with the handle and stuff like that. As you can notice, I've already put my name in that little facet right there, that pawn foot, so that they'll know whose axe this is. When it just happens to be sitting there and, well, like it's got a name on it. Now, next thing, I'll be drilling a hole through this handle, and I'll put me a little loop of bank line in there, because Blackie hangs his axes like that. If you prop them up or whatever, the handle will eventually take a set over a long time, especially if you're storing them out in a shed where it gets hot or cold, etc. That can happen. Hanging an axe will keep it straight and keep the pressure off the grain. Sideways puts pressure on the grain. Propped up puts pressure on the grain. If you got a rack that you can hook it into like that and hang it, that works as well. But I put masks on them and just hang them like this in my tool shed to have access to them, easy to get to. Big old coffee cup hooks work really good for that, where I can just hook it onto that hook and it stays there. A lot of times underneath that coffee cup hook, I'd put a little piece of tape and put what axe went there, so that two long axes can fit close together. One come this way, one come this way, and the hatchet goes between them. But also when I come in and I look up and realize I'm missing one, where did I leave it at? Quick and handy when you got a pretty large collection. And so that's all there is to it. Putting it on a surface, making sure the head isn't going to wiggle around, taking a file and taking long strokes onto it to make an even edge. Checking your work often, and don't take off more from one side than the other to make that edge get uneven. If you do it, even number of strokes on this side, let's say 25 on this side and 25 on this side, they stay even. You do 50 on this side and 20 on this side, it does that. See? And so you want to keep that edge straight up and down. You can look at it, edge on like that, roll it back and forth, and tell that the edge is in one line, that it's not too much to one side or the other. Easy to check. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. If you have, please hit that like, share, and subscribe, and throw down there in the comments what you use to sharpen your axes with. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie, wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.